Greetings, all. I am Tikisha Michelle of Education Inside Out. Get excited about it. I don't know if y'all know. Excuse me. I don't know if y'all know, but I did an Instagram video about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Not real sure. And I needed you all to tell me, kind of give me some thoughts on what should I do? I told you we were rebranding and everything. Because you all probably have seen me on so many different platforms, being Tikisha Michelle of this or that. And I am Tikisha Michelle of all of those things, but I'm always going to be Tikisha Michelle of Education Inside Out. But this particular program that you are watching here is simply Think on These Things. We're still Education Inside Out. We are still empowering and evolving and educating the people through various topics that still center around education, leadership. We just want you to get this information and we want you to apply it to your everyday life. All right. I am a parent empowerment specialist, as you know, and I'm also an educational consultant. So all of those things, those are all labels and titles that mean a lot, really. But as we sit here during this program, I simply want you to think on the things, which of course comes from Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, which is our base scripture, and it ends with think on these things. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. As you probably can see, I have a guest with me today. And he will probably be with me often because he has been really, really helpful in terms of helping to engage in many conversations that we're actually going to discuss, many of the topics. In some cases, we've talked through before. And he's an author as well. And so pretty soon you will be seeing his book that's going to be coming out soon. But as we get started, I'll go ahead and shout out school improvement. Tikisha Michelle's supporting school improvement goals through teacher efficacy and meaningful partnerships. Meaningful partnerships. That's a big deal. Because as we start this Think on These Things, especially today's topics, you're going to really want to get back and check into that particular book. It's a workbook. It's specifically designed and focused for teachers, for schools. But if you don't work with a school, if you are not an essential partner of a school, you could still potentially benefit from it because it just gives you a way to think through many different ideas and to guide you and empower you and to help you to reimagine how you see different things that apply to your life. All right. So enough with that. JT, are you ready?
Yes, I am more than ready. Let's start.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so happy that you are here with me today. It's Third Thursday. Get excited about it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And we want you to think on these things. All right. So chaos and confusion. Now, what you may or may not know that in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, God is not the author of confusion. So the things that are happening in the world that we live in, he cannot possibly be pleased with. What do you think, JT?
I would agree. I would say that we really need to take a step back and look biblically into the Bible for a better sense of direction and not put our own voices on what we think God is saying versus what he is actually saying and how he's actually directing us to move forth at this point in this time.
Listen, that's so true. So true. I agree with you. And let's go ahead and move that, even what you just said, and this chaos and this confusion when it comes down to the Department of Education.
All
I don't
right.
know about you, but all of this, the Department of Education, people are getting fired. It's getting shut down. It's not getting shut down. a multitude of people have lost their jobs, many more losing their jobs. The Supreme Court has said, yep, the Trump administration can go ahead and do what it wants to do. And then everybody was like, well, who's going to manage the money? Like, where is the money? And who's going to be in charge of it? And the administration was like, the states will be responsible for it. Well, the states are already responsible for monies that go into schools. Mm-hmm. And there are different organizations in the Department of Education that are already responsible. So we can't take like all the grants and things that have to do with Title I, special education, and food and nutrition. We can't take that. Matter of fact, chaos and confusion. Listen to this. And y'all may not know, JT is not in the field of education. He's not. He educates, he empowers people, he helps them to evolve in various situations, but he's not in education. But listen, it still impacts him because he has kids who go to school, right? Or at least a kid that goes to school. right? One, right? That goes to
school.
Two that go to school? Wait.
College and...
Okay, yeah. Right. So that's even bigger, right? But let me reel it back in to the topic about this funding, right? Like right now, the administration is withholding about 8.6, I forget, 8 point something million dollars from schools. You know why? Because the administration wants to make sure that the schools are doing things the way, or it aligns with what the administration wants to happen in schools or doesn't want to happen. And that stinks, right? You know what it reminds me of? You know how in other countries, when the leadership wants to make sure that they have allegiance, that the people obey them and follow in the way that they want them to go. That,
like a dictatorship?
Yeah, what? Did you say dictatorship? No, we live in a democracy. It can't be a dictatorship. So, but this whole withholding money from schools, that's for specific things, but you're not going to do it like that because you're not going to give it because it was already approved by Congress, but you're still going to withhold it.
Well, I have a question. So my question is, doesn't it take an act of Congress to break? Well, I thought it took an act of Congress to dissolve the Board of Education, or am I incorrect in that assumption? Can we just work because the president said it? I guess now the Supreme Court has enforced it, which makes little or no sense. But
so it's gone through the proper channels now. So they said that it's okay, like it can happen. So the way when he originally did it, they were like, you can't do that. So checks and balances. But for whatever reason, and I haven't gone deep into it, and somebody, you can go ahead and drop it in the chat, drop your thoughts or suggestions in the chat. But just know that even without all of that, the dissolving of the Department of Education, you're withholding money from schools. Schools have, in some cases, have already started, but they started without funding in various areas because they're checking to see if the schools are adhering to the expectations of the administration. So hold on to that thought. Now, I'm going to move in just a little. We've already gone for a little while. So let me tell you statistics now, right? Because what the administration also has talked about, and that is the failure of education ultimately, that children, and this is true, right? There are statistics that prove that children, and I've shared this before and I'll reach back in and share it later and somebody else can put it in, that there are so many children who are not in schools too, that are not where they need to be academically. Children are not functioning on their grade levels. Many children are functioning at or below a fourth or a third grade level in middle school and in high school. Think on that. Now that's kind of horrific, right? Man, I really want to tap into this like really, really good, but I can't right now. But what I do want you to think on today hold on to this. This next statement that I'm about to say, I'm not trying to give every teacher a pass. Neither is every parent being ridiculed for this next statement. But teachers are actually not the reason for students failing or for the failure of students. Not. We can't be. Not all teachers. Now, I'm telling you now, I do know of some teachers. But every teacher is not responsible for children failing. Okay. And even despite that teacher, it could be, hold on to that, because it's not even a school necessarily. In many cases, it's not, neither is even the funding that the school has. Because don't worry, there's plenty of conversation on who is responsible or which schools have more money. And why do some school systems, and I don't know if you know this, JT, but some schools get more money than other schools. Yes. Some school districts get more money than other school districts.
Yes, I do. I am aware of that. Like a lot of the suburban schools will receive more money than your urban schools.
Right. And then even within that, sometimes it's even in one school system that money gets distributed unequally, right? But that's not even the reason either. That's not even a reason either, right? Because I've been teaching for a long time in a lot of different places, and I've come across some kids who are living in great disparity, right? They are, golly, some of the things that they've had to contend with, and they're like brilliant, right? So when they came to me or other teachers in my space, we had to work with what we had, with some great things, and we had to help them to get started on the path that they needed to get started on. But if we weren't there, now I'm not telling you even the school where I was even had a lot of money, because it didn't, right? This was relationship. But guess who wasn't present in some of those situations?
I'm going to say parents.
There it is. You got it. Ding, 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 ding. You are absolutely correct. Now, parents, I'm not talking to all of you, but I am talking to many of you. And, I always say I'm not coming for you, and I'm not. But it is very important. I cannot be a parent empowerment specialist and not empower you. And I won't empower you if I continue to say, oh, it's okay. It's all right. No, mommies and daddies and grandmas and aunties, it's not okay. Not right now. It wasn't okay before, but it's definitely not okay now. Why? It's not okay now because things are changing. I told y'all transition was coming. It's here. You see it right in front of you. Money being withheld from education? For what? Because you don't want certain kids, certain families to be educated that live here? Come on. Somebody got to live and work. What you think, JT? I need some people to be at McDonald's. I need them to know how to push the color. Well, I don't really eat there that too much anymore. Wherever I go eat, I need somebody there to work. What do you think?
I would agree. I think what's part of the problem is that we are now facing a presidency that is not really designed to be helpful at all. It's more adversarial. For instance, you hit on a very good point about parents needing to invest in their children and not put the onus on schools. Schools are kind of like a helper, right? They're
we're the help meet. We're the help meet. We are. Teachers are the help meet of parents.
But the fundamentals should start with your parents. Your parents should be reading to you when you're smaller to kind of plant that seed, as it were. And the schools are acting as gardeners. You've been talking about gardening to help that seed grow.
Right.
So, and then we're dealing in a situation where now the old ways of doing things are no longer going to be prevalent because everything's changing.
Ooh. I don't know if you were you took a breath and I got to jump in right there. Yes. think transitions, right? Change. Some
Right.
people say that there is a shift. There is. You can call it a shift, a change, a transition. I've been talking about it since at least 2023. Y'all, it's here. It's here. But guess what? What hasn't changed? You're still a parent. They're still your kids, and you're still responsible for them. Every aspect of them. Y'all, let me tell you this. And this is bad, but it's not bad. Yes, it is. No, it's not. So parents go and buy their kids clothes for school, right? It's time for school, so let's make it happen. So parents go and buy their kids clothes. They used to call it drip. That might be a new name for whatever it's called right now, right? So they buy their kids clothes, they buy their kids technology, they buy their kids the latest shoes, whatever it is, right? Because we have to fit in. That's the mindset, the thought process. We have to fit in. Now we have to learn. Not we have to make sure that you're on grade level. I don't know why that has changed so substantially over time. I don't. Now I know that kids get in trouble. Well, go ahead. I see you about to go ahead and share.
I was going to say, I think that has a lot to do with, unfortunately, the amount of pressure that kids get when they don't fit uniformly with all the other kids. So suddenly now either they're getting peer pressure from the other kids and picked on because you're different, or they are internalizing, why am I different from everybody else
Whose fault?
in those
Who's
situations?
responsible for that though?
I, I think in that responsibility, it's really hard to place one hand on just one individual, because you can say, because some parents are going to do the best they can, right? They're going to try to make their child fit into situations based on their income. Sometimes I think in those situations it's a bit of the schools, and I would say it's a bit of the parents as well. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. In those type of situations, parents should be trying to be more active when integrating their children into the schools, and the schools should be more active in integrating with anti-bullying policies. I know that's a big word, and a lot of schools say them, but a lot of schools really don't, I have, to my knowledge, superly enforce them. I could be entirely wrong. I
You
know
you
schools say they do, but
you
a
are.
lot of
I don't know about entirely wrong, but it is because what we can only do so much where we are, right?
right.
So we need the parent. So every time, and y'all can say I'm old, I don't care. I'm not really old. I'm just older. Hold on to that. I don't know if you ever watched Little House on the Prairie. Some of you who are 20, you haven't. Go check it out. It's on the TMC, the movie channel, or movie the T whatever. I don't remember what the name of that channel is, but it's like old movies. What's the name of
TMC,
that? Huh?
TMC, if you're talking old movies,
Yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
TV stuff.
TMC, right. So, and there's something Bonanza or something. There's all these westerns and everything that's on there, right? So go check it out. But it was community. I always think back to Little House on the Prairie, right? One room schoolhouse. Everybody didn't. There was Nellie and them. They ran the general store. Their mama was like real, but she made sure her kids had everything because they had all of the money and this and that. And her kids were like, they were all uppity and everything. But then there were the Ingalls and everybody else who weren't on that level. And they were like, whatever, Nelly, like, go do you. We care. Not really. And when they went home and told their parents had a message for them. But it wasn't like, go in and beat her up, go take this from her, cause her harm. It wasn't that. It was, you're okay. And I had to do you're okay lessons for my kids for various reasons. Now, I was a different type of mom. So sometimes it was like, you be okay because the rules at your school say you can't fight, but let me go and have a conversation. Let me let these children know they better leave you alone. So there was that. But I did it in a most professional and respectful way. But
Y'all believe that, right? Y'all believe that.
yes, they absolutely should, because I am Tikisha Michelle. So listen, I want you to understand that I need you parents, right? I need for you to focus on school systems. Check out school systems, because what I have come to know, and again, this is hard, it's heavy, but it's got to be said. And I need y'all to know, because this system is about to go away. And I'm about to be out of time in a moment. But let me tell you, the system that many parents figured out how to work, many parents of all denominations, of all
Right?
races and cultures, all there are so, not all of the parents, but so many parents, all of these folks figured out how to work this one system. Y'all, they're about to take that system away. You know, it went from colorful money, looked like Monopoly money when we were on that system. Now y'all got credit cards or debit cards. They all fancy and stuff. You don't have to walk in the store and flip out your colorful money anymore. You just scan your card. And some folks are, not being responsible even with that card, right? You know what I know somehow, you know what some people did, JT?
What?
They had some more kids so they could get
Wow.
some more money from this system. Now we got a bunch of kids. We got a bunch of kids that need to be taken care of. And we're going to take care of them, right? But in a minute, the government is like, give me your kids. Figure it out. Go get a job. We're 12. We don't care. But we're not about to give it to you anymore. That's another one of these transitions, JT, that's been coming down the line. It's been coming. They've been trying to do it, right? They've been trying to do it little by little by little. And listen, I don't criticize the people who are on that system, because I needed the system for a moment once upon a time, right? But we can't live on that system. And if you thought you could, or if you hoped that you could for much longer, it's about to go away. It's about to go away. Now, if you see that this administration is withholding funds from schools, entire school districts, what do you think they're about to do with this system? What do you think about that, JT?
I think it's. I think people really need to sit back, take a really hard look at the state of the world. I think people need to stop looking and trusting what they see on social media as a truth, and do some research to see what's really going on, so that when it's time to make decisions, because things are going to change, that they're able to make clear, decisive decisions based on real information, and not somebody trying to prove, or somebody trying to get likes, or someone just putting out false information. Because there's going to be a lot of that right now. And that's what's happening. Everybody has an opinion, but all opinions aren't real opinions. So we need to really ground ourselves in truth, so that we understand and are able to handle these shifts that are going to come, and how they're going to affect us, because they are going to affect us. They're affecting us now.
Already, there are all of these, the transitions. And I want to encourage you, like he said, I'm going to go ahead and round this out. I have so much more to talk about. And so I'm sure we'll come back here pretty soon and do this, and just be prepared for next Thursday. Um, but y'all, these shifts, these transitions, they are happening. And the it's not working for your good intentionally. Does that mean it cannot work for your good? Oh no, it can. But I want to encourage you to remain prayerful. I want to encourage you to gather your kids and have conversations. I want you all to meet, and I've talked about doing this before. especially school's about to start. We're coming towards the end of summer-ish, depending upon when your kids go back to school. Um, and I want you to tell your grandkids, tell your nieces and nephews, if they're not watching, I want you to tell them, go check it out, like he said. Go find out. And then even if you don't know, get ready. What are you going to do if in fact they take away the system? They may not take it away in its entirety. What are you going to do? Are you going to be mad? Are you going to march in the streets to make them give you these funds, or what are you going to do? I want to encourage you. Try something different. Try something new. Go and gather those funds that you've had, put them together, match with another family, get some land somewhere, buy some property. Yeah, I don't want to farm. I don't want to work in that industry. I don't want to get dirt. I don't want to dig. You don't want to? You might be hungry. I want to encourage you. And he mentioned, JT mentioned my garden. So if you follow me on Tikisha Michelle on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see where I've been given lots of lessons from the gardens. I had raised garden beds this summer, and I'm getting ready to prepare them for fall. Y'all, it's work. But if I didn't want to, I didn't have to be hungry. If I didn't do anything but eat one cucumber a day, but I gave those good old cucumbers away, right? Because I told you I wanted to have a community garden. You too can start a community garden. Figure it out. How are you going to survive if they dismantle the system that you've been living on all this time? Listen, I got so much more to share with you, but think on these things. Okay? Think on the things that we've shared. And I don't want you to get worried. I don't want you to get stressed. I want you to make a plan and work the plan, as I always say. I want you to talk to your leaders, do some research, right? And prepare yourself for whatever else is happening, whatever is coming down the line. Y'all didn't even like it when COVID hit and you had to be home with your kids. Some of you did. I'm going to tell you about homeschooling and how homeschooling has just been busting at the seams, especially right in North Carolina, where we currently live, and in some other places. Listen, the struggle can be real, but if in fact you decide, you make a decision, right? And you start making a plan and working that plan, then you don't have to be worried. You don't have to be stressed about what it is that's happening or about to happen in this shift, in these changes, and in these transitions. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, JT, for talking with me during this first official episode of Think on These Things. And we're going to talk again. We're going to get back together again real soon. I told you, like, I'm looking at notes and I have data. There's so much more information to share. There's always information to share on this topic. But if you would leave a if you'll leave a comment, make sure to like and share. Think on these things, please do so. We're going to be talking so much more about education, the transitions in the world that we live in, and empowering you, because I want you to evolve through empowerment and education. I am Tikisha Michelle, and I look forward to talking to you very soon. You can find all the different ways to contact me and to communicate with me right in the description. You all have a great, great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.